Open your fridge right now. You might see soda or yogurt or leftover pizza. You might even have fruit from across the world. But to my ancient ancestors, none of this was food. So what did I actually eat back then? The answer would shock most people today. Scientists found proof in caves all over the world. This proof changes everything I thought I knew about humans. But to understand it, I have to go back to the beginning about 3 million years ago. My earliest ancestors were not hunters. I was a scavenger. When a lion killed an antelope in Africa, it ate the muscle and liver and heart first. Then hyenas came in for the rest and chewed through ribs and skin and smaller bones. By the time I got there, only scraps were left. There were thick leg bones that even hyena jaws could not break. And this is what I ate. My signature meal was bone marrow. Early humans like me would creep up to a dead animal and grab the thickest leg bones. I would smash them open with sharp rocks called oldowan tools. Inside was marrow. It was gray and slick and dripping with fat. I scooped it out with my fingers and ate it raw. For me, this was a massive feast. No other animal could reach it. The marrow was locked inside thick thigh bones. But I had one thing no other scavenger had. I had hands that could grip a rock hard enough to break them open. I ate the brains too. A cracked skull holds almost 1 pound of solid fat, and fat has the most calories of any food in the animal. For someone living on scraps, a skull was a jackpot. This is why my body still treats fat like a treasure. My body still remembers. I also ate insects like termites and grubs and beetles. I ate fat white larvae the size of my thumb. They crunched just like shrimp. For my deep ancestors, insects were not a last resort. They were my dinner. This was my life for over 1 million years. Day after day and generation after generation. But what came later is worse than I can imagine. First came fire. The oldest human fire I have ever found is inside Wonderwork Cave in South Africa. It is about 1 million years old. Once I had fire, I had cooking. I roasted meat over coals and buried roots in hot ashes. I dropped marrow bones into the fire. Cooking is like digesting before eating. Raw meat and raw plants force my gut to do hours of work to break them down. Cooked food is already partly broken apart. My body spends less energy digesting it, and gets more calories from every bite. Scientists believe that as I started cooking, my gut got smaller. That freed up huge amounts of energy, and it all went to one place. It went to my brain. My brain is only 2% of my body weight, but it uses 20% of my calories. I cannot run that machine on raw leaves and termites. I need cooked food that is full of fat. Cooking gave me my big brain, and my brain gave me everything else. That is when my menu exploded. By 300,000 years ago, I looked much like I do today. I was eating almost everything I could catch or dig up or reach. I ate mammoth and bison and wild horse and reindeer on the plains. I ate fish and shellfish from the rivers and coasts. I ate roots and wild grains and berries and nuts and mushrooms from the land. I stole eggs from nests and I ate honey. I especially loved honey. The Hadza are a tribe in Tanzania who still eat the way humans ate before farming. About 15% of their calories come from wild honey. They climb dangerous trees and get stung hundreds of times. They keep going back because nothing else in the wild packs that many calories into one single bite. And here is what is strange. That exact same craving is still alive in me today. I crave sugar. My brain is wired for it because for hundreds of thousands of years, sugar gave my body two things at once. It gave me instant energy to use right now and extra fuel my body stored as fat. That fat was the only thing that kept me alive when food ran out. A dripping honeycomb was the richest meal I ever saw. This is the program running inside me right now. My body cannot tell the difference between honey in a tree and a donut. Modern food took that ancient signal and turned it into a massive business. Soda and candy and cereal and sauces and even most bread. Almost every packaged food on Earth is just sugar wearing a different costume. That is why I cannot stop eating it. My body is still trying to store fat for the next time food runs out. But sugar was not the only thing my body got hooked on. So what else did I learn to crave? I craved meat. A single mammoth carcass could feed my tribe for weeks. One big kill saved hundreds of hours that I would have spent picking berries and digging roots. That saved time gave me time to raise children and teach skills and make better tools and tell stories around the fire. This is why my body still craves protein. Every craving I have today was shaped by what kept me alive. But there was one craving I still have trouble admitting. I craved other humans. In a cave in England called Goff's Cave, researchers found human bones from about 14,700 years ago, and the bones told a story no one wanted to read. The skulls had been carefully cleaned with stone tools. The face and the base had been carefully removed. What was left was the top of the skull-shaped rim by rim into a cup. The long bones had been cracked open the exact same way I cracked open antelope bones for the marrow. And here is where it gets worse. This was not about starvation. The same cave contains the remains of horses and deer and other animals. There was plenty to eat. A 2017 study calculated how many calories a human body actually provides. The answer is around 125,000. A single bison holds 600,000. A mammoth holds 3 million. Humans were not efficient food. They were a choice. One forearm bone found at Gauss Cave was carved with a zigzag pattern after the meat was gone. This was not a last resort. This was a ritual, and Gauss Cave is not the only site. For hundreds of thousands of years in different parts of the world, I was doing this to other humans. I did not always do it to survive. Because somewhere in my history I decided it meant something. And it gets stranger. I did not just eat fresh meat. I ate rotten meat. When I killed an animal, I could not eat the whole thing at once. So I buried it or stashed it in caves. By the time I came back, the meat was crawling with maggots and smelled like decay. I ate it anyway. Some researchers think I even preferred it that way. Rotting meat has already been partly broken down by bacteria. It is easier to chew and easier to absorb. The bacteria even produce B vitamins that my body needs. My body still remembers this. Every fermented food I love is controlled rot. Cheese and yogurt and sardo and beer and wine and soy sauce and pickle. They are all rot that is slowed down and made safe. My taste for cheese did not develop in a French dairy. It developed on a savanna 100,000 years ago while eating something far worse. Every craving I have today for fat or salt or sugar or the richest thing I can find is still running inside me right now. My body does not know about grocery stores or refrigerators. It only knows to eat while I can because tomorrow there might be nothing. At 11 at night when I open the fridge, even though I am not hungry, I am running a 3 million-year-old program. I am still scanning and still trying to keep myself alive. But the world it was built for is gone. If someone took a modern human like me and dropped me into the world of 50,000 years ago, I would probably die in days. I would not know how to find water. Half the plants would be a mystery. And I would not be strong enough to run down an animal. I would die staring at a landscape full of food I could not see. But if I dropped a 50,000-year-old human into my kitchen, they would think they had walked into the pantry of a god. They would not understand any of it. A cold and sweet drink sealed in metal. Bread that someone else baked. Milk that sat sealed and fresh for weeks. Fruit from places they had never heard of. Food that nobody had to chase. It would look like the richest place anyone had ever walked into. For 3 million years, every human who ever lived was hungry and cold and tired. I might be the first one who is not. And I have no idea how rare that is. Please remember that all information in this video is only for reference. This is not financial advice, so please make your own financial decisions carefully. If you enjoyed this journey into my past, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos.